Yeah, look, they said that I couldn't do it, so I went and did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, you know I've been on a what? Mission. Go. Okay, let's get it. Got a little time on my hands like a wristwatch. I don't got time for the brakes and the pit stop. Race through the gridlock, take it like Chris Rock. Right to the chin, still win. Heavy metals like Slipknot. Got the driving, I got tunnel vision. I just hit my stride the way I run the business. I've been making paper like I'm Dunder Mifflin. See the end game, I got one division. Look, I just did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, you know I've been on a mission. Okay, let's get it.
Deep in the heart of Texas, where speed meets precision and every corner demands perfection, SnB's drivers have arrived at Circuit of the Americas. We also are honoring the legacy of Kyle Busch tonight, a competitor whose passion and determination helped shape the sport of NASCAR. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eliza Bethel alongside Matt Sisler for the Forever Rowdy Grand Prix at COTA. Matt, it's going to be quite a night tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, Eliza, and as I rejoin our session, the first thing I see is multiple drivers slip sliding and spinning out, so it's gonna be a tricky track. COTA, definitely a challenge for these guys in the Gen 7 stock cars.
I think so, but before we get on track for qualifying and the race, you know what we have to do? We have driver spotlights tonight. So tonight we welcome drivers of FIWB, pilot of the number 42, Rowdy, and Jimmy Cocker, driver of the number 11 car. What's up, guys? How you doing tonight?
Doing good.
Yeah, doing good.
Glad to hear it. All right, we're going to get this interview started then. So the first question. If COTA had a theme song, what would it be? And we're going to start with Rowdy.
That is a harder question than you know. Honestly, I was not ready for something like that.
Yeah,
oh, gosh,
I'm catching you off guard, aren't
I? Yeah.
I'm literally pulling off the track to focus here. Like, I genuinely don't know the answer
Yeah.
to that either.
yeah. I'm about to do the same thing. Oh, I gotta look at a list of songs. I don't know. You might have to come back to me.
All right, we're going to bring it to Mr. Jimmy Cocker then. What about you? What's the theme song?
No. Man. Can you give me like a genre or something? Like,
Well, what kind of stuff, man?
down.
When I think of racing, I think of AC/DC, but I don't know what you're into, so.
there you go. Okay. So my favorite song, and the one that I listen to before every race, is "It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll."
That's what I'm talking about.
I'll put that one. For,
Okay, I love it. All right, Rowdy, back to you. What theme song for COTA?
And I'll tell you what, this track can be so chaotic, and it just like strikes me as like, I don't know, Avenged Sevenfold, like Shepherd of Fire or something like that.
Ooh,
I
yeah,
just kinda
nice.
think of that whenever I'm going around this place.
That is so true. I like it. All right, second question. COTA is one of the most challenging road courses. We all know that. What's the key to putting together a winning lap here? And we're going to start with Jimmy this time.
I think consistency, being able to just be in a rhythm every single lap. You really are trying to hit the same point in every single corner. And, you know, we do have racing, but for the most part, you're going to be racing the track more than other drivers. So I think just being able to get in gear, get to your right braking point, and just being able to put down consistent lap after lap.
Great answer. I agree, definitely. All right, Rowdy, what about you? What's the key to putting together a winning lap?
I think that, you know, especially with this place and this car, this combo, I think, you know, just braking zones is a big one here, just because you got long straightaways into deep braking zones, and the other one, especially with this car, is not slipping the tires. Other road courses you can kind of get away with some sort of tire heat or tire wear, but this place is unforgiving whenever you slip tires. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, another great answer. I agree. I think a lot of drivers are going to struggle with that tonight. Tire hopping and, braking a little too late, and it might be an issue. So it's something we're going to have to look out for sure.
I agree.
All right, next question. We have a lot of turns, several passing zones, but where do you think drivers will have the best opportunity to make up positions tonight? And we're going to start with Brody.
I think turn 1. I think it's the technically longest straightaway in the track. It's you can throw it into that corner and slide out to the outside and set yourself up for turn 2 and entering the S's. I think that's probably going to be the place to watch tonight for passing.
And this is coming from one of the drivers that we're going to have to watch tonight. Fantastic at road courses, both these drivers. So if you guys are listening out there, you're driving tonight, be sure to listen to what they have to say for sure. All right, Jimmy, what about you? What is the best opportunity to make up positions tonight?
I'm going to agree with Brody. Turn 1,
Yeah.
if you have the guts and the glory, you will go down there and drive it deep and try to outbrake somebody. The other one, any place where you're hard braking, there's another corner after the 2 left-hand. I actually don't know which corner it is, but it's there's another hard braking corner on the other side of the racetrack. That's also a good spot for people to outbrake each other for position.
Nice. Yeah, I think what you're talking about could be turn 6 or 7, somewhere around there.
It might be.
Yeah. For sure. All right, final question. Well, one of the final questions. This one is from Thomas Harmon from last week. His question is, which race in SnB would you redo if you could? And we're going to start with Jimmy.
I feel like Harmon might have targeted me with this one because there's only one race that would ever have that for me, and that was the Xfinity Homestead race. I just came down pit road a little too late. Brody was able to hop me, and it being nighttime, I was not able to get back to him, and he won the championship. So if I could have it back, I would have back that I think it was season 4.
Yeah.
Season 4 championship race.
I think so. Yep. Fair enough. I do remember that, and I do think he was thinking of you. I think he said it on stream too. All right, Brody, what about you? If you could redo one race in SnB, which race would it be?
Tell you what, Eliza, I could probably, find a way or find a good reason to go back and re-race about 80% of my races. We're just gonna go, just recent memory, that Kansas race where I just recorrected into the wall and took Jimmy with me. Oh man, I wish I could have that one back. We had some good speed as a team right there.
You sure did.
I wish you could have that one back too.
Yeah. I honestly thought you were gonna pick that one. Just been like, I wish it went low.
Yeah, those were definitely some races I can see for sure. All right, final question. Do one of you guys have a question for next week's driver? Let me see. You guys are probably going to ask me who it is, so let me go see. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Austin Mitty.
Oh, what question do I have for him? I don't know. You can probably just. He was really fast at Charlotte, so maybe just ask him. Looking at the schedule, where should we expect him to be? Quick, because that was a surprise to me.
Yeah,
he's been really fast this season, and I honestly thought he was gonna, finally get that first win at Charlotte. It didn't play out that way.
I love it. Yeah, he's definitely shown a lot of speed this season, so it's really cool to watch. So I can't wait to see how he's going to answer that one. Great question. All right, drivers, I appreciate you guys coming in the booth, getting to talk to you and everything, and I wish you a lot of luck tonight at COTA. I think you both are going to do amazing. Both of you guys are great road course drivers, and you can see on the speed chart, Jimmy #1 currently, and Brody, we haven't seen you out here for too long tonight. I know you joined in a little bit later, so I'm anxious to see you out there for sure.
Thank you.
He was running 137s, just for reference. So.
I'm just going to say that's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Originally, I was running 129s because I was on the wrong racetrack layout. So.
Oh. Oh no, yeah, that's a bummer.
I told all of FIWB the wrong information on that.
Sorry.
One. I told them I was running 129s. They looked at me sideways.
They were really
like,
impressed, I bet.
That is 10 seconds faster than the field.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, no.
World record right there.
Heck yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to put you back in FIWB, but a lot of luck to you guys tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, Matt. Man, it is going to be a really fun race out there. It is going to be a difficult race. Drivers are complaining about how loose it is. And, I think a lot of drivers are over driving the corners, and they've learned quickly you just can't do it here.
Absolutely not. Like, I just hopped into the test thing we can do from spectator cam here in iRacing, and can definitely say it's definitely loose, and this track will punish you for over driving. All it takes is you getting the tires a little bit unhappy through one section of the track, and you're going to pay for it the whole rest of the lap.
Yeah, I agree. And, I'm a little surprised for some Poston. He's a rookie out here, and it's really great to see how fast he is. He's running 138.5s, along with Jimmy, who we just had in the booth as a driver spotlight. He's got a 138.5 as well. But, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you think is going to win tonight?
Already? We haven't even got to qualifying yet. I mean, you did highlight the rookie. I mean, we both said it here multiple times that Fortson Poston could take one before the season's out, and
It's true.
all it takes is one mistake on a road course, and you can go from first to the tail of the field. So, if they qualify how they are lined up right now, don't count out that 41.
It's a great pick tonight. I'm gonna have to go. I'm cheating. I'm gonna have to go with our driver spotlight drivers, either Brody or Jimmy. I've seen them. We've all seen them in action. They're great at road courses. Jimmy's number one on practice speed. It's just a matter of tonight. I think it's all gonna be about consistency and staying on the track. If you can do those two things, you're gonna be golden. This is a very, very technical, tough, difficult track. So if you can do that, I think you're going to be good. But we are out here in qualifying, so let's go on board with these guys and see what we're up to. Fortson Poston, Matthew Gale already out. Jordan McGraw, who also was quick on the time charts here. Rob Rossello joins us tonight. Matt Burgess, his first race with us. He's able to join for the remainder of the season, I do believe. And Luke Allen.
And the road courses can be wild cards in a lot of leagues here on iRacing, where a lot of guys who run these types of cars, Eliza, even though these Gen 7s were meant to be a little bit, supposedly they were developed to be a little bit more friendly towards road course racers. I don't know how true that actually is with how this car's evolved, but not many leagues like to use these cars on the road courses, so we may see guys who, usually run like 10th, 15th on ovals. If they happen to be very good on a road course, not even extremely good, but just a little bit better at keeping their car under them, you might see guys move up and down the field just based on being able to keep the tires on the car, being kinder to the car than others are, because these things are going to drive so much differently than they would on any other type of track that we run at. Obviously, turning left and right, you're going to put a lot different forces into this car than you normally do.
I agree. Yeah, we're going to see guys kind of spread out here, I think, especially turn one, lap one is going to be, chaos corner right there at the start. So I think if we can get past that, these guys will be golden. I think we're going to see some one-car spinouts. But we have cautions off on road courses, so they don't really have to worry about that. It's going to be a complete track blocker in order for us to manually call a caution. So it's just a matter of be consistent, keep it on the track, you'll be good. But I do want to give a shout out to Kirk Dragon. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well out there. Let's see if we do have any times on the board here. I don't think we do just yet. That's how long this track is, and they cut it quite a bit. It was 3.4 miles, and now it is 2.3 with the new configuration here.
Indeed, they cut off, like, I didn't even realize it, but they cut off, 8/10 of a mile. They cut off the whole, I always say back half of back third of it. It's really not the back third, it's the far third on this track because they cut out the part where they cut out like half the S's and the hairpin and then a good chunk of that long back straightaway. And I know there are drivers both in real life and in sim who don't necessarily like that because that was one of their better things was being able to get this Gen 7 to decelerate really well from high speed on that back straightaway because that back straightaway is so long. This car gets up to near super speedway speed before they have to get on the brakes for that heavy braking zone, and it was always who could get the car to stop. I know I had problems with it in NIS whenever we went here. It's not easy to do, and you can do it right. We have 38 laps. You could do it right 35 times in a row, and then the 36th time you mess up, you're going straight in the gravel. It's just so difficult to be perfect around here every single lap. You have to. This is probably one of the most challenging road courses that the Cup Series goes to, and it's just gotten even more so now that we have the shorter layout.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And take a look how Fortson, we're on board with Fortson, but he is cutting that last corner. Drivers want to be pretty much parallel to that wall as they're going through there, try to get that cut and keep that momentum going. But Brody Folliker, who was one of our driver spotlights, and I told you guys he is fast out there, 138.4, top of the board so far. And Andrew Sanford, what a fantastic time for him, 139.8. Jordan McGraw, 139.0, but you can just see you have to be so patient with this track and just make sure you nail every single part of it. Use every piece of the track that you can to get that momentum for the next corner. You have to get the entry and the exit just right, and this is one of those tracks where, patience is key. You just have to not overdrive it. Overdriving it is absolutely going to spin you out, basically.
100%, and it's just, and the problem again with these cars with the stiffer suspension, it's so you can't use the curbs like you want to. Like we have the Gen 4, we have the 1987s, we have so many cars here on iRacing for these stock car configurations that you can pretty well abuse the curbs and the sausage curves that you find here at Circuit of the Americas. The problem is the Gen 7 really does not like bumps. It really doesn't. I know you've driven this car a bunch, Eliza, and you can, like, for first-hand experience, this car does not like hitting an unexpected bump because it will try to spin you out.
Oh, absolutely.
You hit a sausage curb here, like, you have to get as close as you can to the sausage curb without both getting a 1X and without clipping that curb, because if you clip that curb, these incredibly stiff suspensions on this car are going to bounce you, and bouncing this car at all is going to cost you time.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. And there are bumps like turn 6 where they have the shortcut in the track and cut off the rest of it. There is a bump right there, right outside that curb, that if you hit it, is going to spin you around. So I think we're going to see some drivers have difficulty in that corner itself. We might see them spin around, and hopefully there's no one around them. I mean, as you see, besides this part of the track that we're seeing with Tristan Health, some of these corners can be pretty narrow, and there's not a lot of room to give. So a lot of this is going to be single file and just wait for somebody to make a mistake and be able to capitalize on that. Just, I cannot stress it enough. You have to be patient. Tonight is all about patience, consistency, and just staying on the track. You're going to hear me say it a lot, but yeah, if you can do that, you're going to at least probably get a top 5.
Indeed. I mean, you don't even necessarily have to be running the same lap times as some of the guys in front of you. Like, that's another thing with road course racing is it's what you said. Keep the car on on the racing surface. I know with NASCAR we have like extended track limits, so it's not as rigid as Formula One that also runs here, or even the V8 supercars that ran here for a little bit. But if you can just keep your car going, keep it running, don't make mistakes, even if you're a few seconds off the leaders, guys are gonna have problems all over the place. It's why we see like stuff in the Cup Series or the O'Reilly Series or the trucks. When we go to a road course, guys who don't normally finish well and maybe aren't even that quick run in the top 10 or top 15. They outperform the equipment or where they normally would run because they keep the car pointed in the correct direction and they keep the nose mostly on the car. If you can do that, you're going to get better results. You are 100% correct. Like, the main thing about it's basically an endurance race. It's a small endurance race. It's like a sprint race. It's a GT sprint race, effectively, to put it in iRacing terms. It's about the same length of time, so you just have to not cost yourself. Don't hurt yourself. That's a big mistake drivers will make, is they'll race each other. They'll forget about racing the track, and then they'll just go straight on in a corner, or they'll open the steering too quickly and hit a wall. There's just so many mistakes you can make here, and it all stems back from racing your opponents more than you're racing the track.
Yeah, it's very true. And you're going to find that out tonight. Who is able to hold on to that machine and keep that consistency. And it's just a very difficult track. There's not a lot of grip. And I think tire wear is going to be a thing tonight more than drivers may realize. Fuel, how much fuel's in your car will also probably help with how it handles. So we'll see how they handle that once the fuel wears out and they get new tires on. If they take less fuel for whatever reason, depending on when they pit, could be another thing. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we only have about 10 seconds left in qualifying. They have 10 minutes tonight. But I do want to say with incident points, if you go over the track boundaries, you have up to 21 incident points. If you hit 21, you will have to do a drive-through. And then you will have to do that every 10 subsequent incident points. So hopefully they don't run into that. But man, qualifying is on the board. Rowdy Folliker gets pole. Jimmy Cocker, his teammate, he's going to be right there beside him. So let's get this show on the road. We're going to go to the grid and go through the countdown here. But man, oh man, these guys are fast. It's pretty incredible. But here we go. Rowdy Folliker on pole with a 138.4. Jimmy Cocker to his outside in that 11 machine. Row 2 is going to be Jordan McGraw in that 34 with Matt Burgess to his outside. Tristan Helf in the 38 with Andrew Sanford in the 37. Row 4 is going to be Fortson Poston with Rob Rossello to his outside. And in row 5, Francis Hamilton in the 48 with Matthew Gale in the 67.
Row 6, we have Joe Berg and Luke Allen side by side. Brendan Book and Austin Mitty are 13th and 14th. Our last car to take time tonight was Evan Adams in 15th. He'll be lined up alongside Thomas Harmon in 16th. Jose Ruiz and John Velocity make up the next row in 17th and 18th. And row number 10 is Joe Turley and Philip Bridgman.
Travis Stroney is going to be 21st with Ryan Robertson in the 2 car. He's going to be P22. And last but certainly not least is going to be Josh Cole in that 43 car. And that is going to be your field tonight. I know I did. Matt, I had several drivers say, you know what? I can't even do this for a lap. They're spinning out and it's a very difficult track. So they chose to not take on the track tonight, and they'll be joining us back next week. But I do want to give a shout out to Canoe. I do believe that's how you say your name. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well out there.
And I can understand that Coda is definitely, especially like we said, with the when they shortened it down to do the 2.6 mile layout instead of the 3.4. It made it even more tricky and difficult. So I can completely understand some drivers just going, you know what, I'm good, and waiting to come back. But yeah, it should be interesting for the drivers who showed up. They're willing to take on a very, very technical and tricky racetrack.
Absolutely. You can see these drivers lining up side by side. 38 laps tonight here at COTA is going to be a difficult journey. I know a lot of drivers were not excited about COTA and the new layout. It is a slippery track, and I do believe we're going to see quite a few drivers do a solo spin out, but man, we'll see who is going to be the winner here. We've had a lot of new winners, a couple of repeat winners, but we'll see how it all pans out tonight after 38 laps. Joe Turley is on pit lane. Hopefully he'll be able to join us out shortly. We've also had a couple of drivers just plagued with technical difficulties. Hopefully that's not his issue tonight.
Indeed. He may be trying to play safe. We know how Coda likes to be lap 1, turn 1, so let's see. 38 laps. Brody Folliker and Jimmy Cocker going to lead us to the green flag. A bit a longer run down here before they get the 5 red lights.
Green flag.
Formula 1 joke there. And we are green from Coda.
Here we go, side by side. And you're going to see these guys absolutely fan out as we head into the first corner. We're going to see how they can handle that. Some of these guys are going to take it super wide. We're going 3 wide mid-pack here, but it looks like everyone is just perfect coming out of there. So we'll see, but Brody's got a nice lead out, and these guys, they're underway, starting to go single file already, trying to get their car underneath them.
Yeah, and the good thing is, with the NASCAR layout, we do have extended track limits, so these guys will run it fairly wide where they can and where they have to get their best lap times and follow everybody through. And it's going to be interesting, you know, where's the first time we're going to see somebody make a mistake and see somebody else make an overtake. It is going to be interesting, especially as these tires start to wear out.
Man, you can see Jimmy Cocker all over his teammate's back bumper. We're going to see how much patience he's got as they're going through these corners. I mean, you know, Jimmy wants another win here. He's just waiting for it, but it is very, very early. This is one of those tracks, though. You have to take advantage of a position when you can. So we'll see what happens with it, but Brody Folliker, as I heard in practice, he was getting 137s. We'll see what he does on track.
Yeah, and we do bring it back to what they were talking about with the one race they want back. These two had a history of incidents. We saw that I believe it was Kansas. Like, you gotta wonder, is that weighing on their mind? Like, you want to go for it, absolutely, but again, here at Coda, like, as I come up the hill, all I could think was if Jimmy makes a move here and they both end up spinning and facing the wrong way, that's a long wait for everybody to go through. Now, they may try to get going quicker, but you're probably going to have to hold up and wait. And that's a very quick way for one wrong move to take you from the top 5 podium to outside the top 15 in a hurry.
I want to go on board with Matt Burgess. He looks like he's doing a really good job. This is his first race with us this season, and he started 4th. He's currently 10th, so he's trying to just get his bearings out here. But man, a great run so far, I think, as the time goes on, and you're just able to get in the groove of everything, get in that rhythm. I think we'll see him gain a few spots, but take a look. This is for P10. He's got Matthew Gale behind him, and that's going to be Luke Allen in 9th ahead of him.
Yeah, and don't make a mistake. Don't beat yourself. I just saw an example of it. Jimmy Cocker was looking to make the move on Brody Folliker into a corner where we don't see a lot of passes right before the quadruple right-hander. He tried to go to the outside. I think he got in the marbles, and it just slid way out wide, and it cost him like 6 car lengths to his teammates. So, you just can't beat yourself, as we do have a spinner off the last corner. That's Andrew Sanford.
Let's see if we can go back there. He's losing a couple of spots here, just sitting there waiting for the traffic to go by, trying to get back on track, but man, he is going to lose a ton of spots. And it looks like he's going to go close to last right here, unfortunately. But he's had a lot of speed this season. I think we'll see him regain those. But already lap 3 of 38 as they head through the S's. Brody Folliker in 1st, Jimmy Cocker in 2nd. But I got to bring this up. We are going to do a lap 8 moment of silence. And if you guys know NASCAR, it is going to be for Kyle Busch. He helped shape NASCAR. He was so fierce in his competitiveness, and just a driver with a ton of victories across all of NASCAR's top series. He definitely set a standard for winning. and he was one of the most recognizable personalities. He had a ton of passion, a lot of talent, and he always spoke his mind. To a lot of people, he was a favorite. To some, he was a rival, but he is somebody you cannot ignore. So we're definitely going to miss him out there in the NASCAR community. So lap 8, we will hold a moment of silence for Kyle Busch. Just so heartbreaking what happened with him, and I pray for his family and his friends and his teammates, and it's just, man, so tough. Just a hard several months for NASCAR.
Indeed. We lose Biffle like right before Christmas, and then I can still remember, Eliza, like I was in the middle of work and I saw like my boss post a story, because part of what I do is like putting stories in like sports sections of newspapers, and he put something in about Kyle being hospitalized and not being able to race. It's like, oh, well, that's not good. I'm really sorry to see that. I hope he'll be okay. Like, but we've heard this before, where drivers are suddenly sick and can't race, or with Alex Bowman, where he was out for a long time with his vertigo issues, and and it's like, well, that's horrible, but I hope he's back soon. It's not, a driver's absence is something we've gotten fairly used to, and then all of a sudden I get a message on my phone from a group and it says he's gone. I'm like, the bleep do you mean he's gone?
Yeah.
I'm trying to because I'm trying to censor myself like that. My literal reaction I can't say on air. Like you can't. What do you mean? Like, it hit everybody. I know for sure
Hard,
for me,
yeah.
it felt like presumably what NASCAR watching adults felt when Dale Sr. passed away in 2001, where it was just the state of, this isn't happening. Like, nobody could believe it, and whether or not you loved or hated Kyle, and I know I was on both sides of the fence, because initially I really didn't like him and then grew to respect him. You had, whether or not you loved him or you hated him, you had to respect what he could do behind the wheel, because he could back it up, as annoying as it is. Because I know he beat my favorite drivers a lot of the time, and I know he probably beat Eliza's a lot of the time too.
Right.
You had to just respect what he could do, because he could talk everything he wanted to do, and then he'd go out and back it up, and then you just have to sit there and go, damn that stupid back, because you knew it was
true.
coming at the end of the race.
Yeah, that is true.
And you had so many drivers give him compliments, including road course ringers, SVG gave him his flowers when somebody tweeted out the video of Kyle going from third to first. I think it was the 2025 race here against Tyler Reddick and SVG himself. And he didn't tag Shane or anything, but Shane must have seen it, and he gave him his flowers, which was, it's something that you don't have to do, but it was so lovely. And it's it must mean that Shane just happened to see it and said, I have to say something, which was really nice.
Yeah.
When you get a guy who is that good on road courses to compliment you and say he was one of the best I've raced against, if in effect, I'm paraphrasing, but to say that is the highest honor I think you can bestow, and we're all gonna very much miss Kyle.
I agree, absolutely. It's definitely a tough loss here, for sure.
And you can just see it with we have a number of drivers who have put Kyle Busch schemes on their cars. I saw an M&M's car out there, and somebody's got an interstate battery scheme. It's drivers, it's sim racers who maybe never even met Kyle, and maybe if they did, it was for 5 minutes at an autograph signing.
Right.
But it's everybody who wants to pay respects to somebody who, again, love him or hate him, made NASCAR better and just wanted the best for the sport. And this is a loss that's going to be felt for a very, very long time. And there's still, almost 3 weeks later, there's still nothing you can really say that can ever equate this loss. The closest thing in NASCAR we have is Dale Sr.'s passing in 2001, because this is the first time that NASCAR's lost an active driver since that day. Like, full-time active driver, I should say. I think maybe it happened in, like, 2015-ish, but I forget. I'm terribly sorry, I forget who it was, but it was the first active driver. And how terrible for RCR that it's the second time they've had that happen to them. That it was Dale Sr. in 01 in that 3 car, and then Kyle, you know, years later in the 8. It's just, there's just no words. It's so tragic.
Yeah, I agree for sure. But we do have a lot of paint schemes out here that are honoring Kyle Busch, and we're kind of lap 7 already of 38, and we've had a lot of drivers go off the track here. Jimmy Cocker, I'm not sure what happened with him earlier on, but Jordan McGraw passed him up, and then Jordan McGraw lost it, and he fell back to P5. We've had quite a few other drivers have an issue here, but man, oh man, very, very busy track currently. These guys just trying to hold on to it. I'll bring up the track map and you can see how spread out it is. These drivers are just all over the track. It's very spread out, and a lot of this track has been cut off, and I think NASCAR did it so that there are more passing opportunities, more excitement on track, but it has increased the difficulty of it, and they also did a repave, which I think makes it a little less grippy. But we are coming up on lap 8, so once that happens, we will do a moment of silence for Kyle Busch here. But that 42, 5 seconds ahead of his teammate Jimmy Cocker. How about that?
Well, it's rather fitting. You've got the, you got that Kyle Busch first Toyota win paint scheme on Brody's car as he comes to the last couple corners before we start the lap of remembrance. It's rather fitting that it's a Kyle Busch paint scheme out front, dominating the way he did that Atlanta race when he took that first win for Toyota in this car, and rather fitting that they're running 1-2 right now.
All right, moment of silence for Kyle Busch. All right, lap 9 and Brody going into the first corner. Since we last spoke, he's gained about a second over his teammate Jimmy Cocker for FIWB. We warned you guys, they are extremely talented at these road courses, but Tristan Helf currently sitting P3, Fortson Poston, a rookie for SnB, but he is extremely fast. He sits P4 with Jordan McGraw sitting P5, rounding out your top 5 here.
Indeed, and just to go back to the leaders, Eliza, he did gain a full second. Brody a 138.8 compared to Jimmy's 139.9. Like, that's just showing how good Brody is, because Jimmy's putting a gap on the car on that 3-4-5 battle behind him. who they're separated from the battle for 6th place behind them, but just showing like how good that Brody is. He's channeling his inner SVG right now, because you've got a Toyota chasing him, and it's basically Shane versus Tyler Reddick out here right now, except for the fact that they're teammates.
It is so true. We just saw on board with Travis Droney. He did unfortunately spin again. He's able to get back on track, but you know he's got to be a little frustrated. Kind of over driving that corner right there. A lot of drivers will do that. It is not off limits. It is pretty relaxed on this course, I gotta say, and a lot of drivers will use that to their advantage. But man, the S's are extremely difficult out there. But let's go through. Rob Rosello, he is going to be P6, gaining 2 spots from where he started. Luke Allen, he's P7 in that 7 machine, and that is not the first time I've called him in 7 in that 7 car. So lucky 7s, I'd say. But he gains 5 spots from where he started. Joe Berg in 8th, John Velocity in 9th, gaining 9 spots. And Matt Burgess, he sits rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, and he just went around at that second to last corner. Again, that's a deceptively difficult corner in these Gen 7 cars. I know I say that almost about every corner, but that one really is. He's just in front of Matthew Gale right now, running in the 11th position with Thomas Harmon in P12. Francis Hamilton trying to recover from a spin through that quad apex right-hander earlier in the race. He sits 13th. Andrew Sanford, currently 14th, and Austin Mitty is 15th.
Yeah, Austin Mitty, he was saying earlier, he says, I can't drive this track. This was last week on Friday. He says, I can't drive this track without spinning. And we had a driver, Brody Folliker, saying, you know what, I'll help you out this weekend. And I think Austin Mitty took him up on it. But man, I love the speed that Austin has shown this season. And you can see that he's doing well out here. He's sitting 15th, and I know it's not exactly where he wants to be, but he's doing great in points, and I think great tonight so far. And then you're going to have Evan Adams, P16. Ryan Robertson in 17th, gaining 5 spots from where he started. Josh Cole in 18th. Travis Stroney in 19th. And Jose Ruiz, he's in 20th.
Last car running is Philip Bridgman in 21st. Brendan Book, I saw him have an issue earlier. He is out, and I believe Joe Turley had connection issues. He'll end up sitting shotgun on the field tonight. He will be P23.
All right, let's look at Brody on board currently. He's going through the S's. This is going to be turn 6. They're going to go parallel with that wall. You see it right there on that left, and there is a bump there. If you hit it just right, it will spin you out, but you have to really, really watch it around here as we're heading into turn 9, 10, 11. Just some tricky corners around here. Again, I will say, I feel like this track is take your time. The faster you try to go, the more it's going to mess you up. You can see Brody is being so careful coming around these corners. He's not exactly flying for what we're used to in NASCAR speeds. You just have to really take care of that car. You're either turning or you cannot be on the brakes and turning at the same time here. Drivers have told me this multiple times. If you're trying to turn and you're on the brakes, you're more than likely going to spin. It's just not something that works out here.
This is true, and it also comes down to how, like, it's also, like, I guess, the skill level of the driver when it comes to these cars specifically, because I've seen drivers, and me being somebody who likes to personally drive these stock cars on road courses, I think it's a fun challenge. It's very, very difficult to go from, say, a GT3 car, which has traction control and anti-lock brakes, or a GTP car, the prototypes, the current prototype class, to these cars. You would think, you look at the GT3 car versus a next gen or a Gen 7, you look at that and, no, it's not that different. It really is, because these Gen 7s, they don't have any driver aids. They don't even have a pit limiter, which, the GT3s have. They don't have traction control, anti-lock brakes. It's so easy to just overstep this car, and with no electronic aids to help pull it back, it's very easy to go from, I'm doing a very nice job, have it carefully in control, to, oh no, I'm facing the wrong way in the gravel. It's such a fine line with these Gen 7 cars, especially, and it's even more so than, say, the O'Reilly's cars or the trucks, which can be a little bit more forgiving than these cars.
Yeah, you know, and one thing that we have not mentioned is the elevation change on this track. There is a lot of elevation change with which also goes into how this car is handling. You're going uphill for turn 1, trying to break into that. It may help you just a little bit, but then you're going right back downhill into a corner. So it's just a lot of different things that affect how you have to drive this car and what you have to watch out for. So this is definitely a difficult night for these drivers, but man, I'll tell you what, they're handling it amazingly well. And take a look at Jimmy Cocker, though. He's gained a couple of seconds over his teammate, Brody Folliker. So I don't know if he's getting in the groove of things, but Brody was a little bit slower on that last lap. They both ran a 1:40, but Brody ran a 1:40.29, and Jimmy ran a 1:40.09. So just a little bit faster there.
Yep, and it could also be I think he was working his way through a little bit of lap traffic. That could be where the couple of tenths came from. And it could be very well that Brody's overheated the tires a little bit, and when you do that, that's all it takes is just a little bit too much. It's just a little bit too much, and then it's very, very hard to get the tires on this car to stop being angry. And that's not just at this track, Eliza, like on ovals as well. The Gen 7, you overheat these tires, you slide even for an instant, it takes a good couple of laps on an oval for you to calm the tires back down to where you can start to chase again. And really, it even takes like a caution flag where you're running, a third of your normal speed to get the tires cooled off to come back to temperature to where you can then push again. And on a road course where there's so much stop, start, acceleration, braking, especially here at COTA, which is really, with the changes to it, is really more, I'd say, a Sonoma-type racetrack where you have that stop, start, a lot more than, say, Watkins Glen, which I would think is a bit more of a free-flowing track that we do go to in the chase for Shake and Bake. It's so hard to get these tires to cool back down when you have to be on them 24/7 around here.
Yeah, it's very true. And I feel like this car is one of those cars where, we'll see Matthew Gale going into pit lane. We'll see if he's just going in to take tires. It's a little early, but definitely, I don't know. We'll see what happens there, Matt. Kind of interesting.
It could be. I can understand, if you get your tires angry, this could potentially be a two-stop race if you run your tires rather hard. It would make sense, especially for some of these guys further back that, they feel like the tire wear on their cars is not great. They come in, just decide, you know what? We're going to put on the fresh rubber and we're just going to charge. We're just going to constantly be on the offensive. We've seen it work before, making like an extra stop. SVG did it at Watkins Glen this year, which was an incredibly impressive drive. It'll just be time will tell how many drivers will follow what Gale did and maybe do a two-stop. I'm not even sure if he's doing that. I think he may have only taken fuel.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Yeah, so, we were, from what I saw when I did my test run, Eliza, with fuel-wise, these drivers were very, very close to making it on fuel, so even to the point where, if you do stop and come in for a splash of fuel, you're not really going to want to take tires because, shockingly, even though these NASCAR Cup Series pit stops have gotten so much quicker with the single lug nuts on these Gen 7s, it's still going to take, taking even two tires will hold you up now. And the biggest thing is it going to be worth taking the few, 3, 4, 5 extra seconds or whatever it may be to change right side tires, or even longer if you change both? When you're, normally you're waiting on fuel in these cars. Now, with this track, you're so close to on fuel, you may choose to just say, you may just say forgo it and just take fuel, get back out there as quick as possible. It's an interesting strategy, and we'll see how well it pays off against guys who may choose to put 2 or 4 on if they choose so later in the race.
Man, these guys are so incredibly spread out, though. A lot of our lead cars here, Brody Folliker, Jimmy Cocker, Tristan Health, Jordan McGraw, they are running into some lap traffic here. Travis Stroney is going to be one of those. Josh Cole, Jose Ruiz, and Philip Bridgman. So very interesting to see how far spread out these drivers are. But Brody, he's consistently, he's in fact led every single lap. Lap 15 of 38. We're getting to the point where it is almost half over. I mean, we still have several laps here to go before that happens, but Ryan Robertson is another one that is going on pit lane. We'll see if he takes any tires, but as you were saying, it might just be fuel only.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on him. Does not look... Oh, no.
Oh, there he goes.
Go right side tires going on that number 2 car, and he does have a little bit of damage on the right front, so there's every potential that he's gotten his tires a little bit hotter than he'd like. May just decide put 4 on it. May choose to get a little bit of repair or whatever before he goes back out. It's a safe play, especially if you get steering damage in these cars. It's even worse on a road course than it is on an oval, because it just upsets everything with this car. The instant you bend a toe link on a road course, it's just so much more difficult to handle this car. And this car is already not easy to drive on a road course.
He's still on pit lane, so I'm kind of curious if he got a penalty, speeding penalty or something to go along with that. Or is he fixing that damage? It could be either one, but also I'm curious, Matt, if anyone has hit that 21 incident point yet. There's usually 1 or 2 that at least hit it, and COTA is one of these tracks where I would not be surprised if we had someone have to do a drive-through penalty from hitting that 21X.
This is true, and it used to be a lot worse, right? When like the first year or 2 after we started coming to COTA on iRacing, it used to be so much worse, right? Like, you couldn't run wide at the second to last corner. You couldn't run wide at turn 1. You couldn't run wide at the last corner. You couldn't run wide at the hairpin or at turn 10, the heavy braking zone that we don't really have now. It used to be so much worse. I can remember, like, barely running wide and getting a 1X, and then looking at the race that weekend, and guys are, like, 3 times as wide as I am, and NASCAR's just like, oh, that's fine. And I'm just like, iRacing, you want to do something? So I do give iRacing a lot of credit. That was something that I, like, would point out when leagues would run road courses, is we'd constantly get caught for, you know, running barely, like, half the width that NASCAR guys are running, and we get penalized. And yet, now iRacing, with its subsequent updates, has actually done a really nice job in implementing it. And I know some people don't really like it because they want track limits, and I do understand that. But also, if NASCAR is just going to kind of let them go wherever, it's NASCAR's version of track limits. So, I like how iRacing's done it, where they give these drivers a little bit more leeway, especially in some of these tight corners, like in the middle of that stadium section. Because that one corner, Eliza, everybody runs so wide, that double left before the long right-hander.
Right.
Everybody runs deep. Everybody runs wide there in the Cup Series and O'Reilly's and trucks when they go there. So it's nice to see that they allow drivers to open up the steering and take the normal line through that corner, as opposed to making our competitors have to stay in the limits when the Cup Series drivers don't have to.
It is definitely a little bit more lenient with that, so it's nice to see. And these drivers can just focus on getting that line. But man, take a look, a little bit crowded right here. That 56.93 almost making contact. That's Matt Burgess in that 56, currently sitting 10th, and Joe Berg is going to be in that 93 car, and that will be for position. So very interesting. We also have another driver out on pit lane. That's going to be Josh Cole. And when you were speaking earlier, Francis Hamilton, he spun out. He started 9th, currently sitting P12. He's got a fast car. Just, again, got to keep that consistency. But here we go, 2 wide out here. in that first straightaway, and we'll see these guys going into the first corner. Who's going to make it out on top? That 56 is down on the inside. Joe Berg on the outside. So, man, Joe Berg's going to go ahead and take that.
Yeah, and that's one of the nice things with this like layout. You know, unless you really hit that entry on the inside into turn one, you're gonna put yourself in an awkward spot coming down the S's because turn two, you're carrying so much speed. These cars like to just drift wide in the high-speed corners. They don't have a lot of that. They have more downforce than in years past, but they don't have a lot. You're gonna put yourself on the outside, and it's just so difficult to stay there against guys who suddenly have the preferred line, because the inside line through turn two is definitely the preferred line. Nice job by Joe to keep up the momentum on the outside and retain that 8th position.
Absolutely. Brody Folliker, he's going to be 6 seconds ahead of Jimmy again, so he's gained some time over Jimmy there, and his last lap time was a little bit faster than, actually it was a little bit slower than Jimmy, but he has gained that time back, so we'll see. And Tristan Helft still in 3rd, Jordan McGraw in 4th, John Velocity out there in 5th. He's gained 13 spots. He was absolutely flying in practice, so I'm not surprised that he's gained that many spots. He started 18th. That's incredible.
Absolutely. Very nice job from him. And he's been doing, and that's the good thing, Eliza. We haven't mentioned him because he's not been spinning. He's not been somebody that's had a problem. He's just been calmly and quietly working his way through. And that's something, that is what we said. You have to keep the car on the track. You almost have to have a boring race to have a good race at a road course like this, especially one as technical as this. So it's really not good to see John have a good run and work his way forward.
Yeah, he's done an incredible job. And Matt out there on pit lane, I don't see any tires being taken for him, so possibly fuel only, but it's turning into a little bit of a longer stop. So again, I'm curious if there's damage that's being repaired or what possibly is going on with him. And we also have Philip Bridgman. He is on pit lane. You can see he's got that Rowdy car out there. Great to see his paint scheme, and he's taken right sides, and we'll see if he takes those lefts. Looks like he's going to. So a couple of drivers on pit lane. Brody Folliker still leading the field, and his lead is up to almost 6.5 seconds over Jimmy Cocker. He almost pins it. Great catch for him. Wow.
Yeah, that's I can guarantee you in the car that doesn't look like a lot out there, chat. I can guarantee you from firsthand that felt very sketchy. That's a scary feeling because it's such a difficult corner. Like you mentioned how like the elevation change, it's also like you're so used with these cars to like even on like road courses like Watkins Glen where you do have a very heavy braking zone at the end of the front straightaway. That's only a 90-degree corner, and you can accelerate really hard out of it if you hit it right. This one, you're down in first gear. You're at like 30, 40 miles an hour, and it's so easy, isn't it, with this Gen 7 that likes to spin up the tires to just over-rev just a little. And that 6-second lead feels very comfortable. Guarantee you, if he spins it, that lead goes from about 6.5 seconds down to nothing. And suddenly that lead is, that's your one mulligan. That's your mulligan, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're on board with him right now, and you can see it. He's just so patient with it, but one tiny mistake, and this is a type of car that it does not give you a warning. A lot of times when it's going to spin, it's just you're fine 1 second and then off you go in the next. So very, very difficult to tell sometimes what that car is wanting to do. But Andrew Sanford, he's going to be on pit lane along with P2, Jimmy Cocker. Both drivers on pit lane. We'll see if Brody comes down next time around. But lap 21 of 38, these guys have just done a phenomenal job. Top 13 drivers are on the lead lap. Andrew Sanford is going to be the first one a lap down. He started 6th, currently 14th. Having a solid run, though. But, man, it's just such a difficult track. And if you guys are out there listening, let me know. Who do you think is going to be the winner tonight? Are we going to have a repeat winner? Is it going to be another new winner? And if it ends up being Rowdy, I gotta look, but yeah, I think this would be his first win of the season. We have Jimmy Cocker as a winner already. Thomas Harmon, he's taken home 2 wins. Brendan Book has a win at Bristol. Tristan Helf, he's got 2 wins. Tom Flitcroft, who is not here tonight, he won at Talladega. And Joe Berg, he doesn't have an official points race win, but he did win the All-Star race.
And that can be a nice boost in momentum because whether or not it's for points, you do take down some of the bigger guys in the field to win a race like that. So he can very easily win, and like that win tonight won't be any indicator of that because he's 8th, still chasing Jimmy, who just came out of the pits on 4 fresh tires. But put him back on an oval, and Joe could win a race before we're done with the season, for sure.
Oh, I agree. Joe, I hate that your laptop didn't work out tonight. We were wondering what happened with you. Hate to see it, but he says all 3 dart drivers have schemes for tonight. You can see Evan Adams. Looks like he is on pit lane. He's got that Snickers car out there. And we're going to have Joseph Turley. He was out there. Luke Allen. Let's take a look at what he's got. You can see him in that 7 machine. So he's gained a few spots. He's got the interstate batteries. And yeah, just crazy. I hate to see you not out here, though. That's a heartbreaker.
Indeed, and somebody who had multiple technical issues before we're like finally getting it together. There's nothing worse than being ready to go or even being in the middle of a race and suddenly you just have your connection drop. And iRacing, it's gotten better. Like with its connection flag, it gives you a chance to maybe not get completely booted out of the session if you have a problem, but it can be so fickle and it stings so much, especially if you're having a good day.
Brody, 17 seconds ahead. Everyone's pretty much pit here. Jordan McGraw, he is P2 currently. Tristan Helf in 3rd. Man, I'm kind of curious when these next drivers will pit. It's getting to be kind of late. I think Brody just wants to have this last as long as he can there. He's had a great run tonight and looking for that first win. Not his first win for SnB, no doubt, but for this season, our Xfinity champ wants that next-gen win in Season 6.
Indeed, and he's still putting together very solid lap times for being on 23-lap-old tires, still lapping in the low 140s, when some of these drivers have really struggled to even be in that range to begin with. That's a very nice job from Brody, and I'll have to see what Jimmy's doing just to see if Jimmy's going to get the undercut on him and be able to maybe take the lead as Jordan McGraw pits from 2nd. He made a nice move on Tristan Helf up the inside into the turn 1 hairpin last lap, so we'll see if Tristan responds and comes in on the next lap. I also have to see if Jordan puts 4 tires on it.
Looks like he does, yeah.
A smart play. If you're like, you got to just cover off what the other guys are doing, and if you can get that 1 lap undercut, it can be such a huge difference maker because these tires, despite the fact they don't wear as bad as they do on an oval, they do still wear quite a bit. So it's a fairly safe bet if you pit, even with like 15 laps to go, you probably are going to want to put 4 fresh tires on because even like anytime you're going to gain, you're probably going to lose it back to guys around you if those guys like can even manage to do what you were doing on equal tires. Your tires are going to keep fading while theirs are going to be X number of laps better, and it's just going to get, that gap's just going to get worse and worse. So smart play by Jordan to put 4 on it, and then especially against guys who don't put tires on, now you can charge. They now have to kind of conserve their tires to make sure they can make it, and he can just go.
Looks like Brody Folliker still stays out. Tristan Helf, he makes his way onto pit lane. Fortson Poston coming around the final corner in a second. We'll see if, he looks like he's going to stay out here. But man, I feel like he's kind of flying. Jimmy Cocker just ran a 1:38.65, which is going to be the fastest out there. So Jimmy, he's on a mission currently.
Absolutely, and again, like we just it's gonna come down to how how long will Brody take it?
Ooh.
Like, well,
Sorry,
what'd you see?
Joe Berg was about to go in and last second almost hit the wall. He decides to stay out. I don't know if he had too much speed or what happened, but man, narrowly missed that wall as he goes into turn 1.
Yep, and opens the door, lets Jordan go because he knows, like on tires, he's not got the grip right now to fight it, and it's this pit entry is another thing. Like you don't expect it to be difficult. You look at it on a track map, it's like oh, it's a 90-degree left. That's not hard, but when you're on these old tires with this car that doesn't like to turn at all, especially 90-degree left-handers, it can be a deceptively difficult pit entry.
Very, very true. I'm taking a look at all these guys coming around the corner here. We're looking at Rob Rossello. He's currently 3rd, done a fantastic job. Started 8th coming around, but Brody 36 seconds and has not pit yet. He's brought us to lap 25 of 38. The race is still underway. Very, very clean race. We have had several incidents where drivers have spun out, but it's only been themselves. But we still have parts of the track where there's a group of 3 to 4. But man, Matt, these drivers are spread out. No surprise, though. The road courses tend to do so, but Coda's a whole different beast.
Indeed, and Coda, it's such a technical track too. Like I said, these Gen 7s, I would say the ideal road course, and this isn't just because I like Watkins Glen. I am notorious for loving that track, but Watkins Glen really to me is the ideal Gen 7 track where you want like the intermediate speed to be in effect with these cars with the aero package. It's that track. Like Watkins Glen being so fast and flowing, you're going to get those higher speeds where this car really, to my mind, shines. And especially on this version of Coda, you really don't get that. You don't get it through the S's. Like the only time you get any significant speed is down the front straightaway, which is entirely straight, and then you're into it that really heavy braking zone for the uphill hairpin turn 1. So, it's so technical around here, you have to be inch perfect. And right now, Brody has been, but I gotta wonder, how long does he take this? Like, if he's not, he still hasn't pit. And he's doing times in the low 140s, which is very solid, but as you said, his teammate, Jimmy Conker, did a 38.6. He did a 39.2 on his last lap. And if Brody pits and does the exact same thing, Jimmy's slowly chipping away at that 6-second gap that Brody had. Now, Brody would be on newer tires if and when he pits and decides to take them. However, you would rather be the leader here than be the guy chasing, because Coda, especially this layout, it's really, really hard to try to find an overtaking zone unless you can get him out of turn 20 into turn 1.
Rob Rossello goes on to pit lane, and he is one of the drivers I was just about to bring up that has yet to pit. But here he is going on to pit lane, Fortson Poston. I do believe he is a driver that has not pit just yet. Let's take a look. Yeah, he is not, along with Luke Allen. So yeah, we're still waiting on a couple of drivers to make that entry, and it's going to be interesting. I'm really surprised they've stayed out this long, but Brody has not lost a lot, considering he has yet to go in. Tristan Health, he's got a 138.79 as his last lap. Jordan McGraw, 138.61. And Jimmy Cocker's still out there with a 139.45. But these guys are flying.
They're doing very, very well for the tires wear here. Especially, I'm really impressed. Again, I know I've said it before, but I'm very impressed with Brody, still lapping in the low to mid 140s. I don't feel these drivers can make it, Eliza, but if somehow Brody could, he's in a beautiful position, because the first car that I really feel that could catch him is Jimmy, but Jimmy's not gaining enough to pull off the Shane Van Gisbergen and come back from, 2/3 of a lap down to make the pass. Jimmy right now is about 39, 40 seconds back of Brody. You're not going to gain that back in 12 laps. not here. Not unless Brody would make a huge mistake. So unless Brody's
Right.
like we believe Brody has to pit, like, but we're just gonna have to see. What does Brody do? Do you take fuel only? Because it is a long pit lane here with this F1 style pit lane.
Yeah, I'm taking fuel only. I mean, I feel like he's taking good enough care of his tires that we've seen a couple of drivers not take tires, but we're getting to the point where I don't know, Matt. I think it would kind of be a mistake too, but he's also out enough ahead where he could be just fine. But Shane and his race was absolute insanity. How he was able to make up all those spots in that amount of time. Like, that was crazy.
It was, and it's just a testament to how good he is. And his team said they wanted to put him on offense, which I feel like Jimmy probably wanted to do as well. He would rather be driving offensively and going after it rather than having to play defense, which I can completely understand. But Shane was... that was probably one of the best road course drives I have ever seen, like, ever. And I've been watching NASCAR since I was like 5 years old. Like, that's probably one of the best road course races we've seen. Shane going from 2/3 of a lap down to overhaul Ty Gibbs, and he didn't. And we were thinking he would need to get there on the last lap too, and he gets there with 5 to go or whatever it was. Like, that was just. He's inevitable on road courses, which, and the scary thing is, Eliza, he's getting there on ovals.
Yeah, he really is.
Like Charlotte, he didn't have the top 10 finish that he probably deserved, but if the weather hits 20 minutes earlier, that 97 was leading, and he would have won the Coca-Cola 600. And then in the photo finish last night at Nashville, he ends up with the top 5 finish. Like, at a track where I think last year he was like outside the top 25. 1 year's worth of training, and he's already improving that much on ovals. He's scary.
Oh yeah, I mean he's gonna be stacking those wins on oval soon enough. But we just saw Harmon spin out on one of the corners there. It's just so easy to do, but he's currently sitting 9th. And I want to go through the field here. Brody Folliker, of course, is still our leader, led every single lap. He's going to get some bonus points out there. Jimmy Cocker in second, still in second where he was, so great job to him. Fortson Poston gains 4 spots from where he started, sitting P3 for him. Jordan McGraw in 4th, and Tristan Helf, who earlier said that he was trying to look at the track and decide how to drive it. And he said, I'm not getting anywhere with this. So he looked at a couple of other drivers and their laps, what they were doing. And he says, I had no clue that you could drive that a little bit wider. No wonder why I'm so much slower. And immediately he got on track and he's like, I already gained a bunch of time. So it's great to study off of some other drivers here. But Tristan Helf currently sitting P5, John Velocity in 6th. Luke Allen is going to be 7th, Rob Rossello in 8th, Thomas Harmon 9th, and Joe Berg, he's going to round out your top 10.
Matthew Gale currently out there, the last car on the lead lap, just in front of a leader, Brody Folliker. He's P11. Francis Hamilton currently running 12th. Trying to find, oops, my apologies. 13th place is Jose Ruiz, I believe, unless he just pit.
Yeah, it is Jose.
Okay, Jose is 13th. My timing is a little bit off. Just double checking as guys come across. Yes, Jose 13th, Austin Mitty 14th, and then Matt Burgess has had some issues. I think he had to definitely did have to repair damage to the front end of that Ford. He currently sits P15 as we run right now.
Josh Cole in 16, Evan Adams. He's on pit lane. He's going to be 17th. Philip Bridgman 18th, Travis Stroney 19th, and I don't think he's on track actually, and that's going to be the last one on track is going to be Philip Bridgman. So these guys doing a great job at Brody. Still insane out there. In first, 36 seconds ahead. Is he ever going to pit? That's the question. Lap 30 of 38. It seems like we only have, 8, 9 laps left, but this is a road course. It is a lot longer than an oval, so there's still a lot of stuff that can happen, but he has been pretty much perfect this entire race, which is exactly what you need to do to bring home that first win of the season.
100%, like especially on a road course. You have to be perfect in everything, but in endurance racing, in GT racing, road course racing, you have to. It's the guys who win, the guys who finish the higher up the field, not always the guys who run the fastest. It's the guys who keep the cars on the track. Now Brody has like the added advantage of he's got the speed over everybody else, and right now he's just taking it nice and easy at the front. And now we go back to that thing about taking tires, Eliza. I think now he's at that point where you're too close to the end. You might as well just put fuel in it, because you don't want to risk like slipping through your box on pit entry and doing that. Although as you say that, he comes around, starts heat laps to go.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe he's got enough fuel. Is he going to try to put Matthew Gale here, a lap down here, going to turn 1? I don't know. I'd have to take a look. Like, you can save fuel in these cars. I just have to I didn't think you could do it that well around Coda, but maybe he's got it? I have no clue right now. Like, we did see Matthew Gale pit and take a splash of fuel. Maybe Brody's got the lead to where he can push the clutch in and ride the clutch a little, save fuel in certain spots on the track, and just conserve that little bit he needs to where he doesn't need to stop. Time will tell.
Yeah, he was a little bit slower on his last lap than Jimmy Cocker, but not enough to really do anything. Jimmy Cocker ran a 140.59. Brody Folliker ran a 140.93. So very, very similar. Jordan McGraw right there, 140.99. So, man, these guys just so incredibly close.
For sure. And right now, Jimmy's not gaining enough. Like, that's insane that Jimmy has, like, 20-something lap newer tires, or at least 15 lap newer tires than Brody, and they're within 0.4 of each other. Like, Brody has kept taking such good care of his tires that he's just kept it clean. And now he comes to pit road. Now this will answer the question, does the 42 take 4, or does he just take fuel only? Again, I don't know how long the stop is. Like, and it's such a agonizing pit lane here at Coda because you're crawling down this very long pit lane. It's a short out for him being in P1, but man, you really want to get out in the lead. I'll have to keep an eye. Where is Jimmy?
Yeah,
he's coming through the second to last corner right
Yeah.
now. Where is Brody? Fuel down and
Fuel
away.
only. Yep.
Smart. That's smart. Jimmy off the last turn, even getting that back end out. He was pushing, and easily out in the lead goes Brody. Like, impressive. That is impressive. That Jimmy was going for it, and he couldn't get to within, like, Brody's out of turn 2, and Jimmy's through turn 1. Like, that's a very impressively driven run from Brody right now. That's very well done.
Lead is to 8 seconds now, so that has shaved quite a bit down, but Brody, he just has to keep running his laps, make sure he's being consistent, and he's good to go. If you recall, the start of this race, he got that gap up to 6 seconds, but man, he's just done so well at this, and finally pit at lap 31. We're now at lap 32 of 38, so this race is definitely winding down, but Jimmy Cocker, solid P2 so far tonight. Jordan McGraw in 3rd, Tristan Hell 4th, and John Velocity. He has gained 13 spots, so he is going to be the biggest gainer as far as how many spots he's gained tonight. He started 18th, currently sits rounding out your top 5, so a fantastic run for him.
And again, as I said earlier, we haven't mentioned him a whole lot except when we've gone through the field, and a quiet race is a good one. He's kept it on the pavement. He's not made mistakes. He's not spun from what I've seen. that's what you have to do if you want to be successful in these types of longer like endurance races or road course racing. You just have to keep the car going, and he's done a very good job to do that and be up. I mean, gain 13 spots at a track where you really can't pass much. There's not a lot of places to pass at COTA, especially on this shortened NASCAR West layout. So that's extremely impressive from him to be running P5.
Our top 3 drivers have not changed positions as far as where they are now to where they started. I mean, they've kept 1, 2, and 3. So very interesting to see if this is how they finish. It will not change from where they gridded up, but I want to take a look at Austin Mitty if we can find out where he is. It says that he might have crashed, but here we go. Let's see what happened. We'll try to get that rewound and see if that is indeed the case. And you can see those curbs out there. You want to use those up, but in some cases, they can definitely spin you around. And that's right where I think Thomas Harmon lost it earlier. He is able to get it back on the track there pretty quickly, but it's frustrating. It kind of throws you off the balance and the rhythm of what you had. So just frustrating as a driver, and it really tests you mentally on how you're going to get back to that rhythm and consistency.
For sure, and it's so easy once you make a mistake, and it's also on oval racing, but oval, you know, you make a mistake, you can kind of reset, especially like if you make a mistake where you don't damage the car on an oval, you can kind of get it back because it's like, okay, just reset, next corner, and it's very easy to reset because your mind just gets back in a rhythm, you know, even like the 1.5 miles or even like a track like Bristol, when you're having to go through every single corner on this type of road course, your mind is thinking already back to that mistake corner, and it's so easy to make a mistake somewhere else, and then now you're worried about that corner, and it just compounds. So it's so difficult on these road courses. You have to have a very good mental game and be able, almost like a major league pitcher that gives up a home run, have a very short-term memory if you make a mistake.
Yeah, it definitely tests these drivers out on track. Take a look at this, though. We have a few drivers that are right next to each other. I'm going to try to see where it is. I do not think it is for a position. We have the 87 of John Velocity, who's in P5. He's right behind Jose Ruiz, who is currently... Oh, Jose, as soon as I bring him up, loses it going into that next corner. He sits 13th. Still a great spot on the track, but just so unfortunate. You can see him getting back on
and
there.
Around goes Tristan Health.
Oh.
And that's going to give Velocity fourth. I can see why I think John maybe got into the back of Jose. And I think John's pushing because he can see third up the road. Jordan McGraw is not that far away, and John was going quicker. Like, it's close enough to where if John keeps up the pace, he might be able to run down the 34 car. So it's not over for the final step of the podium. Velocity is within sight of that 34 car of Jordan McGraw. So that's something we may have to keep an eye on as this race gets closer and closer to the checkered flag.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Tristan loses a spot there. I'm sure he's a little bit frustrated here. Jordan McGraw just holding steady. Got to keep that consistency. We brought it up the entire race tonight. If you can do that, he's going to finish out here on podium. So I know that he wants to see it. He had a frustrating start to the season, but things have kind of turned around for him. We've seen him in the top 10 for several races, so great to see that. Jimmy Cocker's still out here in second. Take a look at how much this gap has closed, though, Matt. He has brought that down to a 3-second gap between him and his teammate Brody. We still have a few laps left, and they are long laps, so anything can happen. Brody really has to hold on to this lead and keep his teammate behind him if he wants that first win.
For sure, and you look at it right now, we're coming to 3 laps to go. The gap was 3.5, and he gained a second on him on that last lap, roughly. If he keeps that up, he's going to get there, and if you're that 42 car, how it gets mine. You get your nerves racked when you're in this situation. For personal experience, being in front and seeing a guy who you know is at your level or maybe a little bit better than you steadily closing in, and you're doing everything you can as Brody does a 40.2, Jimmy a 39.6, so the gap down to about just under 3 seconds with 3 laps to go. If Brody's got any pace left in those Goodyear Eagles, and that's the thing about not pitting or not taking tires, he's in a spot now where if he has to go, it's going to be that much more difficult to do so. Even if he's been taking care of his tires, those are 36 lap old tires. Those are going to be howling at the end of this race, compared to Jimmy, where Jimmy can push a little bit harder, brake a little later. If Jimmy can get there on the last lap, he could, even if he doesn't get alongside him, he could force Brody into a mistake. Like you said, like, just because we take the white flag, especially on a road course, that doesn't mean you've won. Like, there are ovals where it's over in 15 seconds if you take the white flag. Here, there are so many little trip-up spots where you can lose it, and that gap is just getting smaller and smaller, and Brody gets a little loose. He doesn't spin.
He doesn't, but he loses a little. He loses a lot considering what he had. I mean, it's just around a second now, and I'm bored with Jimmy Cocker, and that is his teammate. That is P1 straight ahead of him. Anything can happen. We're coming up on 2 to go. And man, this might get down to the wire, Matt. I mean, this is absolute insanity with how much of a gap that he had. I'm curious if Brody's kind of questioning not taking any tires.
And the thing is, he probably felt fairly comfortable when he came out of the pits, right? Like, you have a 6-something second gap. You feel comfortable, but it's your every little thing, you're going to start to feel it. And especially, like, the low-speed corners, your rears are screaming at you right now. And I could see it out of turn 1. Brody just couldn't get the power down the way the 11 could. That 11 is there. It is going to... This could be a last-lap fight between these teammates. I mean, and Brody's in a position where, like I just said, he doesn't have a whole lot to give. He's probably going as best he can, and as Matt Burgess does a nice job getting out of the way for these two leaders fighting over the win. He doesn't have a whole lot to give, Eliza.
No.
Like, if he pushes even a little bit, like right there,
man,
it's twitching. Like, you can tell right there, he is pushing, trying, but you can just see Jimmy's calm. His car is perfectly online right now, and that's just the advantage of having those 20-something lap newer tires as they come out of this corner into the quad right for the penultimate time. He's peeking around the outside, and that's that additional grip. He's trying it.
This is absolute insanity.
He's
11
there.
going. There
He's
he
there.
goes. 42
got
looks
him.
like he's just going to give it away. He knows he does
he
not
got
have
loose.
the tires. Oh, what?
Jimmy, and that's just Jimmy seeing the opportunity open in front of him and just slipping. And now the white flag is up. It's so easy to do that too, Eliza, especially in the Gen 7. You see that gap, you see the opportunity to push just a little bit more. You can see Brody defensive into turn 1. He's trying, and he had to make sure that he didn't open the door for the 11 on better tires to throw the dive bomb at him. But oh my.
Yeah, he was locking up those tires going into turn 1, so you know those tires are absolutely screaming at him. Jimmy just trying to wait for another mistake from his teammate to capitalize. If Jimmy takes it, it's going to be his second win of the season. Meanwhile, Brody is trying to defend his position, and he's not. Man, it is so incredibly close, but he is trying to get that first win. He is trying so hard. A couple of mistakes, and that is just closed down that gap completely for this
and he
final
runs
lap.
wide out of that corner. He goes defensive. Oh, the bumper!
Oh!
He moves him! Around goes Brody!
Wow!
Oh my! That's gonna be an awkward conversation after this race. Ooh.
Teammates
Jimmy
battle
moved
it
him.
out. Yeah, Jim. I wonder if this
don't-
is going to be one of those races where Harmon asked if they had a race they wanted to redo. Before it was Brody Fowler who took out his teammate. Now it's Jimmy Cocker this time. And he looks like if he can hold on to it, he's going to take the win tonight. This will be a second win of the season coming around the final corner right here. If he can make it around this without spinning, he will be the winner. Here he comes down the straightaway. He will be your winner here at COTA. A huge congratulations, but man, I think his teammate might have a few words about this one.
Do as well. That's just heartbreak for Brody. He had done everything right for 37 plus laps, and I guarantee you, as somebody who's made that mistake on the last lap into that corner, I guarantee you Jimmy's not trying to spin him. He's just trying to move him because Brody throws the block, and Brody has the right to give him the, he's got the right as the leader to block that line. He makes one move, but I wonder what salute Brody was giving him going by him after the flag. Maybe what Dale told Jeremy Manfield that he's number one.
Yeah, I didn't see him touch his car and kind of move him around. So I guarantee these guys are kind of laughing about it, considering that this same exact situation happened, except it was Brody to Jimmy. So it'll be interesting to see how the chat goes when we talk to the top three. But Jordan McGraw, he's going to take home third and finish out that podium. John Velocity, he brings home fourth.
A very solid run for him, as Luke Allen, I believe, ran out of fuel on the final lap, so that's going to cost him a couple of spots. Unfortunate for that number 7 car, and it's so easy to make that mistake on the fuel, especially on a road course, so that's going to bite for him.
Oh, yeah.
I think Joe Berg's going to come home in P9 now with Luke Allen running out. That stings for him. Joe Berg is going to come home. I think Berg is going to round out the top 10. Yes, he does. Good job for Joe. Gets that one extra point. Solid job for him. And Matthew Gale's going to come home P11. That stings for Luke Allen. It's such an easy mistake to make as Jimmy starts to burn it down. I can guarantee you as well, Eliza, that Jimmy's not trying to spin him. He's definitely not.
I don't think it was anything malicious.
No, and it's definitely not. It's just, even if it's not malicious, but, as a driver, you can get frustrated and just give somebody the bumper to punt them out of the way, and you don't care if they spin him or not, but I can guarantee you, Jimmy's not doing that, especially not to Brody, so, I've been in that position. It feels awful to gain one spot off that, but, made for an exciting finish.
Absolutely, it sure did. Jimmy Cocker, the winner here at COTA, taking home his second win of the season. Take us through those final couple of laps, Jimmy.
Yeah, we're trying to make good on the tires, right? I mean, we came down around lap 18, and I didn't know if people were going to be able to save. Me and Brody were looking down at the black box, and we saw that you only had to save 4 laps to make it, and I'm glad nobody did, because that would have been a fuel strategy loss on our part. And we caught up to Brody, right? And I was trying to get around him. I got a nose under him a little bit earlier, like the lap before. And then the final lap, obviously y'all saw it. I went in there. He overshot turn 6 just a little bit. And I tried pouncing on it. I knew that he was going to run a little bit wider, and that he was going to block a little bit. I tried giving him a little shove in the next corner, and that just ended up turning him around. Not how I want to win those, and it's pretty clown behavior on my part, so I apologize to him and the FIWB team, because I'm sure I'll be paying for damages to that 42 car.
You ran a great race, though. Guys did have different strategies. Did you talk about it, or were you on your own as far as strategy goes?
Other than talking about the possibility of people saving, no, we were on completely different strategies. I'm kind of surprised tires mattered that much, if I'm being completely honest with you. If you tried doing this race 2 years ago, maybe even 1 year ago, the tire model, you definitely would not have made up 8 seconds. So kind of grateful that iRacing did something a little bit realistic here and gave us some tire fall off, and we were able to go chase down that 42 and bring it home a winner.
Wild race, not an ending that we expected, but man, oh man, what a surprise. And great job, second win of the season. Next week is Michigan. I do believe it is Michigan. Let me double check that. I do believe it is. But how do you feel about that?
Pretty good if I can make it. Me, Frank, Andrew Zapf, Jake Zapf, and Andrew Sanford are all going to the Michigan race. So,
Oh,
like the
okay.
real life race.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I have an 11-hour drive all the way to Michigan, and I have an 11-hour drive to get back. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make that one, but if we do, I'll be on absolutely zero practice other than watching other race cars in real life take the racetrack.
Well, it'll be an interesting one if you do make it, but man, what a race to attend, especially when you got all your friends out there. So that'll be a fun one for sure. But congratulations on the win tonight. Was there any part of the race that was challenging? Which part of the track did you find most difficult?
Not really any part of the racetrack, just again, like I said, pre-race, the consistency. I really needed to lock in there and stop overshooting corners. I was getting a little anxious there while I was catching Brody. I was starting to anger the rear tires by wheel hopping. Didn't even know you could wheel hop in the next gen, but you can. I found out you can. Um, yeah. Other than that, the race felt good, and yeah.
All right, you heard it there from Jimmy Cocker. Win number 2 for him. He won at Daytona and he wins here tonight at Coda. And hopefully we'll see him next week at Michigan. But P2, Matt, it's going to be Brody.
Brody Folliker, Matt Sisler in the booth. An insane drive from you. Great qualifying effort to get the lead. You got out there a long way. Didn't take tires on the last stop. I have to ask, did you think that was you had enough of a gap there at the end, even on the older tires, to stay clear of Jimmy? Or talk me through your strategy there with that pit call.
Well, honestly, I really didn't even pay attention until people started pitting. I was like, I don't really know what to do, but my lap times are still in like the 140s, so it seems fine. So I kind of thought that I would, um, have enough of a gap over Jim to keep the lead. But that was the wrong strategy. I am definitely not a good, crew chief slash driver. I needed Francis Hamilton on the box for that one. But we showed great speed this time, and I didn't spin myself out, which is always great on road courses because I at least have one where I'm just like, well, I guess I did spin out, but it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't your fault. Nobody would say that was your fault for the spin. So yeah, that's important to keep it on the black stuff and going in the correct direction on a road course. Talk us through those last few laps and the contact with the 11 there right at the end. What were you going through the last few laps, because those tires had to be very, very unhappy coming to the end of the race.
Well, in a majority of the corners, the tires really didn't feel that bad. It was certain corners where it was just acting up, and I had to baby it through certain corners, and I'm sure that's where a lot of time was lost. It didn't help that I came out of pit road behind someone, so I was definitely negatively affected by that error. I don't I don't know who it was, but that's gonna happen, especially in these cars. As far as the battle with Jim, I mean, it was definitely a really fun battle. I will say, like, right before he punted me, I blocked, and then I was like, punt me," and then he punted me. But I don't blame him for that. I kind of forced his hand on that one. He wasn't trying to spin me out. He was just trying to move me up out of the groove, and it would have been an interesting way to end the race. I still think Jim probably would have got me on those double right-handers. I think that I probably wouldn't have cleared back and got the preferred line. So, Jim just had the better strategy, and he drove a heck of a race. He was right there with me the whole, on pace the whole race. So, congrats to him. He definitely deserved this one, and I think this is his first road course win, and he's been really good at road courses. I'm just surprised this is first one. I'm pretty sure he can correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm sure Eliza can as well because I don't remember either. I've only been here for a season plus. So, um, we go to Michigan next week and Shake and Bake. Brody, thoughts about going there because you tend to run pretty well on the bigger ovals.
Well, honestly, like Michigan's not even a track that I like per se, or you know, uh, feel like I'm good at, but I generally do run pretty well at Michigan, so it should be a good track for us. I don't really know what to expect. I haven't drove Michigan since probably the last time we went to Michigan, so I don't really have a whole lot to go off of. We're just gonna have to figure it out.
Gotcha. Well, a great drive for you tonight, Brody. P2 still strong effort for you. Definitely helps out your point standings, the run in the point standings, and we'll see you next week in Michigan.
Thank you.
All right, Liza, we got a very strong third place run from Jordan McGraw.
Yeah, Jordan, you started in third, you finished third, but I know there was a lot of action in between then. Take us through how your race went.
Hey, there we are. Yeah, I thought we were in a good spot there, and then the rear end just hopped going through the dish and turn one and spun out, and that put me back and had to make some passes, and Tristan let me go in a good spot, and I think it was the 41 let me go, but in a spot that kind of almost got us both crashed, and then just driving really hard, and I was keeping up with them a little, those two up front. I was matching their pace, which was frustrating me as much as it was, giving me something to chase after. But just, had way too many moments, getting way too many mistakes on my part. Lapped cars did not do a lot of favors in places. Some did, and then some didn't, and then after the pit stop, I mean, I knew that tires were going to be the way to go. The car felt awesome for a couple laps there with the lower fuel, and then it kind of got weird. The handling got weird, and then the 38 got really good. I thought I had me and Tristan were going to have a dogfight for the third spot there, and John in the 87 was running us down there. So I mean, we were going to have a dogfight for the third spot, and then a couple lap cars. We went through them, and one of them uh, uh, kind of challenged me in one corner, and then went wide, and then he got back on the track and absolutely killed Tristan. So that was the end of that fight. And from there, it was just hit my marks and watch the numbers on the relative. Stay about where. Where if I wouldn't have spun and done a bunch of dumb stuff during the race, I could have been out there part of it, but it is what it is. It was fun. I love this track. This is one of my favorite tracks we go to. Absolutely love running this place. It's hard. Everyone complains about it, and that makes me love it even more. And yeah, it was just solid run. Feels like a missed opportunity, but I guess a third place. I mean, you know, 4 races after race number 4, I think I was like 30th in the point standings, and I'm pretty sure I'm in a chase spot right now because we've had a good 4 race stretch here. So not a lot to complain about, but there's enough, and that bugs me.
When you have a spin out or something during a race, how do you mentally get back to the place that you can get that rhythm and consistency back? How do you change that mind?
I mean, first you lose trust in the car. That's the first problem, and then you kind of start backing everything up, and then that takes you completely out of your rhythm, and then that makes the car handle worse, and that makes it dance around and do even dumber things because you're not putting it to the limit that you can put it at because you're scared it's gonna betray you again. And I don't know. It's just it's tough, but luckily I was able to fit in there in a good spot and pretty quickly there. The top 5 of us that at the start got a pretty decent gap to everybody else. So I mean, I looped it and did a little burnout and was able to get back forward without losing a whole lot of track position, relatively speaking, for a dump spin out in that place. So uh yeah, it was tough, but you know, get back in, get some confidence back in the car, get some confidence back in yourself, and once you do that, it's fine, and you can hit your marks and make the lap time you need to. But yeah, it's and honestly, you know, and it kind of took the pressure off too, because at that point I was like, okay, wins out the window, you know, and so that kind of honestly kind of resets your mind a little bit that you're not racing for anything, you're just racing for the best track position you can get
Right.
instead of, you know, the ultimate prize. So that kind of helps speed it along a little bit too.
Absolutely. Next week, we're headed to Michigan. How do you feel about that?
I like Michigan in trucks, but I mean in every other car I've gone there in, and every other league I've been I love it in any car. If we could take the fenders off of these things, I'd probably be all right. I could at least lead a lot of laps. But you know, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Michigan is really fun, but in these cars, in these cars, in you know the Gen C, and every car that we run that's super, you know, aero tight in traffic, it gets a little rough. Those tracks that should be a lot of fun, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be better than I think.
We will definitely see, but congratulations on the P3 tonight. Another great finish for you and the points there. So that'll definitely help out. But man, next week we're headed to Michigan, Matt. It's going to be a fun race, and I think there's going to be a lot of action to look forward to.
For sure. With Michigan being like the big high speed oval that I don't think they put the restrictor plate or what do they call them? The tapered spacer on them. These cars are going to get up to a high rate of speed, and you're going to see it's going to come down to pack racing as well. Track position, dirty air is going to be in very high effect. So track position is going to be a very, very big thing when we go to my home track. And can't wait to see what these drivers come up with to deal with the big 2-mile oval in the Irish Hills.
All right. Well, next week you heard it there. We're going to head to Michigan, 8 p.m. Eastern Time next Monday night. So it'll be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight for the Forever Rowdy Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas. We'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody.